The long road to Eden. Elias stood on the cracked asphalt of the bus station, a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. The air was thick with the scent of diesel and possibility. Behind him lay the quiet, predictable rhythm of his small hometown, and the memory of his mother's tearful, proud wave. He was 21, armed with a cheap university certificate and a heart full of desperate hope. He had promised his family that he would return, not just with gifts, but with the greener pasture he was going to build. His destination was the glittering, impossible metropolis, a city that promised wealth to the bold and swallowed the naive whole. The first 6 months were a brutal lesson in humility. The apartment he'd secured online, his first big investment, was a scam. He arrived to find a boarded-up building, his meager savings gone. Overnight, Elias went from hopeful traveler to sleeping on benches, clutching his duffel bag like a life raft. He finally landed a job as a dishwasher, the long, grueling shifts barely covering the rent for a shared, cramped room in a dangerous part of town. This low point was quickly followed by betrayal. A co-worker whom Elias considered his first city friend convinced him to invest his next 3 paychecks in a sure-thing business opportunity. It was another pyramid scheme, and when the dust settled, the friend vanished, taking Elias's last cent. The following years were a blur of setbacks. He tried driving a taxi, but was robbed at knife point one bleak night, the fear paralyzing him for weeks. He chased every lead only to face constant denial. You don't have enough experience. Your degree isn't from the right school. The worst, though, was the mockery. When he briefly managed to launch a small street vending business, established vendors would sneer, tripping over his display, calling him a naive boy, playing in the big leagues. His quiet dignity only fueled their hate. There was a moment, maybe in the 5th year, slumped against a filthy wall in an alleyway, that Elias truly almost gave up. He hadn't called home in months, ashamed to report anything but success. The city felt less like a chance and more like a cruel, hungry beast. He ran a trembling hand over his face, feeling the weariness etched deep into his skin. Why did I leave? Then the memory flashed clear and sharp. His little sister's patched-up school uniform, his father's back hunched from decades of back-breaking labor, his mother heating water on a kerosene stove. He left so they wouldn't have to live like that anymore. He left because he was the only hope. His sad past would not define his destiny. He took a ragged breath, pushed himself up, and went looking for the night shift. The turning point was small, almost accidental. Working as a handyman in an office complex, he noticed how the building's logistics software was horribly inefficient. Using the coding skills he'd learned years ago in college, he quietly developed a better inventory tracking system for the manager on his own outdated laptop. The manager was stunned. Not only did the system work, it saved the company thousands. That single simple solution was the light. It led to a small contract, then another. Elias, now older, wiser, and fortified by years of struggle, no longer sought get-rich-quick schemes. He built a success, brick by digital brick. Reliable service, honest pricing, and relentless dedication. He turned his expertise into a small tech consultancy. Years passed. The cramped, shared room became a small apartment, then a spacious house he didn't live in. It was for his family. He paid off his parents' debts, bought his father a comfortable chair, and put his sister through university. He had finally made it in life. His dark, difficult past was now just a distant anchor, a testament to his endurance. It was 10 years and 3 months since he had last seen his hometown. Elias had flown in on a Friday. He drove a modest, solid black sedan. No flashy status symbol, just comfort and reliability. As he pulled into the main street, the familiar slow pace of life washed over him. He saw the old marketplace, the chipped paint on the municipal building, the children playing football near the fountain. Nothing had changed except him. He drove slowly toward his family home. His heart hammered a rhythm he hadn't felt since those first desperate days in the city. He pulled up to the small house. It was newly painted a crisp, cheerful blue, paid for by him. He stepped out of the car. His mother was the first to see him. She was sweeping the porch, and her eyes still sharp, but lined with age, fixed on the man standing by the car. Her broom dropped with a clatter. Elias. She whispered the name, a fragile prayer. He dropped his keys and walked the final few yards. His face was no longer gaunt. His shoulders no longer slumped under the weight of fear. He was strong, successful, and finally, he didn't need to say a word. He simply opened his arms. His mother ran to him, followed quickly by his father and his grown sister. They enveloped him in an embrace that spoke volumes of worry, of waiting, and of ultimate profound victory. Elias closed his eyes, inhaling the sweet, familiar scent of home. He had sought greener pastures far away, but he realized the true triumph wasn't the gold he brought back, but the man he had become in the long, hard journey to find it. He was finally free from the shadow of his struggles. His sad past did not define him, his resolve did. He was finally truly home. If you want to see more amazingly inspiring stories, hit that subscribe button now.